So I'm recording this one, and in this activity we're going to have a look at how we can use spreadsheets and use conditional statements or if statements to be able to deal with one more problem. I've got a very simple spreadsheet here where I've got people being paid a gross amount of pay, and you'll notice that I'm using the named cell addresses up here. So rather than referring to them by, A8 or C8, I've actually given them names to simplify it for me. And again, the way we did that is that when you click on a cell, you just need to click up here in the cell address and give it a name. It has to be one word. Now, this is what I want to achieve. In this scenario that we're working through at the moment, we only pay superannuation if people make more than $450 in a month or in a pay. So it's just an example to work through. If you don't make more than $450, you don't get any super at all. So it's an excuse for me to show you how super rates work and how if statements work. So if you have a look at this cell here at the moment, you've got this formula up the top. Now, when you read an if statement, it's important to break it up in sections. Now, the way it works is equals is an instruction to the computer, all right, we're doing a calculation now. If is the type of function that we're applying. Now, when you click on that, you can see what the three different sections are. You've got what they call the logical test. In other words, that's the condition that you're trying to meet. And then if that logical test is true, you do the next stage. If it's false, you do the other stage. So you can see an if statement gives you scenarios, doesn't it? Depending on the conditions, it'll do one or two different things. So there's just a comma that separates them. So let's go through and have a go at this one. I'm going to delete what's there so you can see me working my way through it. So if we have a look at this one here. So for the first person here, it's Tom, and Tom's made $562.05. So we know Tom gets super because it's more than $450. But I want to set this up so it's automatic. I don't want to have to work it out manually every single time. So let's start with an equal sign and the word if. Now you notice as soon as you start typing, Excel is starting to offer us help. So it's saying, all right, is it this one or this one here? It is the first one, but again, I don't like using the automatic features. I like to manually type my formulas because you get better at reading and writing syntax. So it'll make you more accurate in your work. Now the condition is this. If that cell there, which is cell C18, if it's greater than 450, I want it to work out how much super to give that person. So if it's greater than 450, the value of true is I want it to do a calculation. I want it to be that cell there times by the super rate, which is that cell there. And you can see I've actually named that cell over the top over here. It's called super rate. Now, if they don't make $450, I just want it to display a little text message for me. And the way you display a text message is using the quotation marks. So put in a quotation marks and you could say no super, or you could say bad luck. You could say all sorts of silly sarcastic messages, but basically it's just a word to represent the fact that it's no super, or you could put just a zero. Now, I need to close my brackets because every time you have a bracket starting, there needs to be a bracket finishing. Let's hit enter and see if it worked. Now, in that case, Tom gets super. Having a look at Mary, the next one down, should Mary get super? Nope. So let's copy it down. No super. If we copy down further, should Harry get super? No. And what about Sue? Yes. And that's exactly what it's done. So that's how a conditional statement works. Conditional statements are ones you need to practice. You need to do a few different scenarios and try them out so that you can get comfortable with that. I'm just going to show you one other variation. Rather than having the word no super, I can just highlight that and I'm just going to put a zero there. So now you can see the only thing it'll change, the word no super just becomes a zero. So there's no value. A comma. So the syntax, when you click on an if statement, the first bit is the test and then a comma. The second bit is what you do if it's true, and then a comma, and then the last bit is what to do if it's false. And that's the syntax of an if statement. Now, it's one of those things I'd really encourage everybody to use the function wizard and go in there and actually go through and look at the help menu on that topic. Because if statements are one of these things that get a little bit messy at times, you can actually do some really clever things with if statements where you can have if statements embedded within other if statements. They can get really quite complex. If you can get your head around it, they're a great tool.
When you used to use if statements in the original Apple computer, program your own computer in the language the computer.
Yeah, if statements are a fundamental part of programming, spreadsheets, database work. You can use them all over the place.
Something else happens.
Yep. So I'm just going to stop the recording there.